F4 at VIR, best combo literally ever. This car has such good racing, and combined with this track with very high slipstream and long straights, it's just unbeatable. There's no better combo than this. And I mean, there was a lot of battling in this race, and you'll get to see that in a second. Oh, buddy. All right, we're going straight into qualifying for this race. This is actually my first lap of qualifying, and there's a reason I'm only showing you the first lap, and I will tell you later. I'm not going to tell you right now. It's a secret. But we went through turn one pretty cleanly. I'm feeling really hooked up in this car, honestly. It's just like so natural to drive at this track. I don't know what it is. It just feels so good to drive around this track. You could see all of NASCAR Ben just hooking it up. It's a beautiful car to drive around here. I'm just going to skip around so you can see every braking zone, every corner. This is one of my favorite corners of this race because, as you can see on the wind chart, the wind is almost a direct tailwind into that corner, and it's almost 40 kilometers an hour, which means you have 40 kilometers an hour of more downforce on all of your aerodynamic surfaces of the car going into that corner, and it almost is flat out, which is crazy to me. But we're going down roller coaster now. One of the harder parts of the track in this car, not really that difficult. It kind of just takes it. It's very hooked up around, honestly, the entire track, rounding the last corner, going down the pit straight, and we're gonna set a quali time that is good enough for P2 for now. And yeah, in this moment I was thinking I have another lap, I'm probably gonna get P1 because I did feel pretty quick in this car track combo, and I'm only 2K in Formula, so I was in a lower split than I normally would be in sports car. So I was expecting, or my hopes were pretty high just in general, so I was expecting this lap to go pretty well. But as you could see up here, going through NASCAR Bend, I take the first apex, and then I take the second one, and then I just take all that dirt, just get my tires right in that dirt, just drive straight off the track, almost go into the tire barrier. And there goes our second lap off track, but it doesn't matter because, I mean, at least we got one lap, right? But we're starting P2, not really mad about it. We're still on the front row, and right ahead of us in P1 is a guy who actually PM'd me and said he's a fan of me, which is awesome. That's really cool. It's honestly really surreal to hear feedback from people in iRacing and see people notice me, because I mean, I guess I am technically a YouTuber or a content creator, but it doesn't really, I just feel like a normal person just driving on iRacing. So it's really cool when people actually notice me and say they really like the content. It means a lot when anybody does that. But the start of the race is pretty drama-free, going through turn one, single file at the front of the pack, and we have a pretty decent gap between me and P1, but it's not an issue. In these cars, if you don't know, they are like slipstream machines, especially at this track where there's three very long straights to catch back up to people. No matter what car you're in, no matter how much slipstream it has, if you're even remotely close to the pace, you're gonna be stuck to the car ahead of you just because of that strong slipstream. We're gonna skip ahead to Oak Tree, going onto the back straight now, trying to get a really good run. That corner is probably the hardest corner in this car, just because you're turning while you're trying to brake, which is normally a really big no-no in most cars, but at this track you're forced to do it because the corner is literally turning in the braking zone, and it's very easy to lock up your tires through there. Up ahead, P1 is defending kind of in the middle of the track, so I decide not to go for a move, peeking my nose to the left side, but it looks like it scared him a little bit. He locks up, goes wide at the top of roller coaster, and that allows P3 to kind of give him a little bit of pressure through the bottom of roller coaster, but he backs out, which is a very smart move. That would have been really dangerous, going too wide through that corner. That corner is just not a corner you want to go too wide through, or else somebody is going to end up dead. But P2, who was once P1, is now pressuring me going into turn one, and I decide not to defend because we have 9 laps of racing ahead of me, and I kind of value my position at the end of the race a little bit more than my position now, so I don't really care if he takes P1. I'll get him back later. But behind, P3 is trying to get a move done on me, so I'm going to defend slightly, going to the middle of the track, and that kind of wards him off to stay back in P3, and we're back right in the positions we were at the beginning of the race on lap 1. But now that we're going up the S's and I'm not able to overtake at all, I just want to say I can't thank you guys enough for the support I've gotten on my new channel. I've posted 2 videos and I already have 1,000 subscribers. And if you don't know, I posted alongside Aiden on his channel, which obviously has the amount of subscribers he has. And moving over to my own channel, I did not expect a lot of people to move over as many people to move over as they did, and the support is just crazy. It's surreal to be doing this, and I love all of you. And I also plan on posting once a week, at the very least once a week. One of the videos will be like this, going over one of my races. Every other week, it will be something a little bit more in depth, taking a lot more time to edit and everything else. But yeah, let's get back to the race. Going on the back straight, I'm going to try to make a move around the outside at the top of roller coaster. The guy in P1 just doesn't open up the corner quite enough and ends up making contact with me. And yeah, it looks vulgar, and it really isn't. He said sorry, and if you look at it in hindsight, he really did not mean to do any of it. He just didn't open the corner up in terms of our wreck, and then pushing that other guy off track, he had wheel damage. So there's nothing he really could have done. He turned into him, or it looks like he turned into him, but it was just because he wasn't able to turn left because his wheel wasn't allowing him to. But it's fine, because we get back on track in P3 and we still see P2 and P1 right ahead of us. There's the guy that wrecked us out going into the pits. Really unfortunate for him to be out of this race and having to get his repairs fixed. But let's lock back in and just try to catch up to this lead pack, because, I mean, this race is not over until it's over, and I think I have enough pace to get back up to these guys. I'm almost barely within that slip of P2, but we're going to skip ahead, and we're going to focus on their battle. Going through the exit of Oak Tree onto the back straight, P2 is right up the ass of P1 and decides to pull to the right side of the track, taking the inside of the next braking zone, but car number 3 is just going to back out and allow him to take the position before the braking zone even begins, which isn't the best news for me, because I wish they battled and lost a little bit more time so I can catch up to them a little bit quicker, but it doesn't matter. I think I will have the pace to catch up to them, and the good news is I'm in their slipstream now. I'm within the slipstream of P2, so that should make my job a little bit easier to try to catch up to them. And we still have 6 laps left in this race, so plenty of time. Not really worried right now. And yeah, we're going to skip ahead to the very next lap, lap number 4. And you can see right here, I'm on his ass. We're up into the lead pack, even though we almost got completely crashed out of this race and had to get repairs done. Luckily, we didn't get repairs, but we're back into the lead pack and right behind P2 up ahead of us. We can definitely make a move on him into roller coaster, so we're going to go to the outside because he's covering the right side of the track, which is the inside of roller coaster, but he's just going to allow us through as well. So thank you to him, and we are released into the lion's den of what is a battle for P1. We have a lot of time left in this race. We're only on lap 4, going on to lap 5, so plenty of time to try to get P1. We're going to skip ahead a little bit later, going into turn 1. I peeked my nose down the inside. It wasn't really a peek. I don't know why I did that, but he makes a mistake. It probably wasn't a mistake because I did that. He just locked up his front right tire and went wide, and that allowed us to get closer to him, and now we're definitely solidified in this battle for P1 for the rest of this race. And now I kind of have to decide, do I want to battle him for the rest of the race and risk crashing out just to have fun? Or do I want to wait until the final lap of the race, make the move at the very last second so he can't really make a rebuttal on me to get back into P1? And my mindset in this moment was, I want to have fun. I don't want to just stick back and wait and play it boring. If I was going for safety rating or I rating, normally that is what I would do, but not in this race. I'm trying to have fun here. So, going on the front straight, going through the S's, that's not really an overtaking opportunity anywhere on that straight, just because there's a bunch of corners that aren't braking zones, and there's really no place to make any sort of dive or get a move done without risking going too wide in a very risky corner where somebody is, it's basically a death sentence, making a move in that part of the track. So we're always going to be waiting for this back straight, and it looks like we did. We got a decent run out of Oak Tree heading up towards roller coaster. He's going to be on the right side of the track. That is the inside for this next braking zone. We're going around the outside. We're going to stick it, go as late as we can on the brakes, and we get it done. Around the outside of roller coaster, down the inside of the next couple corners, so we have the advantage for the next corners, and we're up into P1 of the race. Now that looked impressive, but honestly, the outside of roller coaster is just as advantageous as the inside of it, so it was pretty easy to get the move done. But we get a terrible exit out of the final corner going on to lap number 6, and we're going to be side by side all the way down the pit straight, heading towards turn 1. He has the inside. This is like impossible to go around the outside of, so I just let him by, try to get more speed on the exit, try to get a tiny switchback, and it looks like it's paying off, but I have the outside for the next double left-hander, so I'm gonna have to stick behind him and just drive the rest of this part of the lap just sticking behind him. I kind of dive my nose down to the inside right there, trying to scare him and see if I can brake later than him. Didn't really work though, and now we're gonna have to wait behind him on the S's, and you could just see, look at my throttle inputs here, how much I'm letting off the throttle to make sure I stay behind him, because like I said before, if I go side by side with him through that section, it's just a death sentence. And going up to roller coaster now, I probably was close enough to make a move, but it would have been way too risky. I wouldn't have known if he was still going to turn in to that first apex and probably make contact with me. And even if he didn't, I was just going to have to brake really late and risk locking up, going wide, maybe even going into the grass, and ruining all of my chances of fighting for P1. Skipping ahead to lap number 7, going through turn 1. Now looking ahead, he locks up. It's a little bit of a micro lock on his front right tire once again, and he's going to go wide, so we're going to take advantage of it, get right up behind him, and maybe make a move on him right before the S's so I can kind of solidify that position. Just having fun with him, and it doesn't look like we're close enough. I'm not going to risk it. Just sticking behind him, playing the smart move. Now skipping ahead to the end of that back straight, or the front straight, going through Oak Tree, getting a really good exit, and we're right behind him. We can definitely make a move on him here. It looks like I don't know if he's trying to break the toe there, or if he's just moving over to the right side of the track to make sure he defends the top of roller coaster early, but it's not going to matter no matter what, because we have so much overspeed and we have so much left in this straight to actually basically get our entire car ahead of him into the braking zone. And going into the braking zone, we are fully ahead of him, so we are now officially into P1 of the race. But we still do have 2 more laps left to go. This next lap is going to be the penultimate lap of the race. Going through the final corner, I get a pretty shit exit once again, and he's going to definitely make a move on me going into turn 1. Luckily, it's going to be before we go through this kink to the right, so I'm going to be on the right side of the track. Even if I wasn't defending, he's going to have to settle for the left side of the track going into turn 1, which almost never works, but he comes really close to making it work, going all the way around the outside, carrying a lot of speed, but just washes out a little bit too wide, so he's going to settle right behind us, still pressuring us through the rest of this first sector. So I really have to think about what I'm doing here, make sure he can't overtake me before the S's, and luckily he doesn't. So we have a little bit of time to breathe before this back straight, but just like that, we're on the back straight, and he is still right behind me, so he's definitely going to be able to overtake me here. It doesn't really matter if I defend or not. He is overtaking me at the beginning of the straight, so he is definitely going to get the move done in roller coaster. So right now, all I have to do is just wait for that final lap of the race, and I'm going to have to strike at some point on that final lap, or else I'm not going to get P1. Going into roller coaster, allowing him through, braking early actually, just to let him through, not really fighting it at all. Going through this last corner, I do have a tiny gap to him, so it looks like if I don't get a good run here, I'm not going to be able to do anything into turn 1. And yeah, I get a pretty terrible run compared to him. So on this back straight, not really even concerned with trying to overtake him going into turn 1, but we're going onto the final lap of the race, and I'm going to take you on board for the entire thing, because this is where things get fucking wild. Going into turn 1, not going to make the move obviously, but he does brake very early. And even still, he washes out pretty wide, and this allows us to catch right back up to his rear wing. So now we're easily within striking distance once we get to that back straight, which is exactly what I need. I need to make sure that I'm close enough to him that I can actually make this move. I don't want to risk being too far back and not being able to get into P1, because this is my last chance. This is the only chance I will ever have in this race to get that position. So yeah, I need to stay right where I am, and you could see I'm going to just show you my throttle chart the whole way down the S's. I'm just modulating it up and down because I'm not able to overtake here. There's no overtaking opportunity at all, and you can just see how much I have to let off that throttle over and over again. But yeah, we're just going to wait till this back straight, and things are probably going to kick off here, dude, because I'm either going to overtake him or he is going to defend for his life, and we're going to have to pull something out of that final corner. Up ahead, there's back markers up there. Hopefully they don't give him slipstream down this back straight, but it looks like they're just far enough to where he's not within slipstream distance. But we definitely have a run on him now. Going up to roller coaster, he's going to take the middle of the track. A very interesting decision, because that means he's settling for the outside of the next corner, and he must have a lot of faith going around the outside here, which rightfully so, because he makes it around the outside. This is kind of a problem now because we have one more corner to make up enough time to pass him before the finish line, which is coming up really soon. Yeah, we settled for P2. It's unfortunate. It was a very, very close race. I mean, I love races like this where it goes straight to the line. The suspense goes crazy, even when you're driving, and that's why this car is just amazing.
You got me shaking, yeah, I feel the fever